Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the GMD Think Alike podcast, and I am your host, Ray Rich Brown, and I'm here today with a special guest, Chloe.
Hi.
Chloe, what's your last name?
Chloe Lacey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know, this is the first time we've actually met.
Yeah.
To give some context, Chloe lives very close to my parents. I'm not going to say how close.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, awesome. Thanks for coming.
No, that's okay. Happy to be here.
Right. So, tell me about this thing you were talking about earlier.
So the meetup that I'm going to, I've just connected with a few girls that are into the same kind of things as me, I guess you could say, like spirituality and stuff.
Awesome.
So, after this, we're going to go down to the beach and just connect and,
So that was just online?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I actually met him through Bumble Friends, and so been invited, and me and my friends are going to go down there and just connect with like-minded people. So
cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Educate me on that sort of stuff. Like like this, like how spiritual, because it's like different. Different levels, I suppose. Huh?
Yeah, there really is. And I like everything spiritual. So from, the basics to crystals and just philosophies and stuff like that. So self-healing and
that's a big one.
Self-love, I feel, is the most important one.
Cool.
So, definitely working on that. And, I guess my main thing with spirituality is the healing behind it and, how deep it goes into like childhood healing in a child and just the trauma that you can face without actually knowing that it's trauma. So
but people carry it with them as well,
Yeah, exactly.
It affects them.
Yeah, and that's the main thing, like energy, everything is energy, and like emotions that you repress are stored into the body, and people don't realize that, and that creates their view on life, I guess, their fears and, insecurities and stuff like that. So
and for a lot of people, it can be quite crippling for them.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing that you guys are doing,
Yeah.
researching into that side of things. So what kind of techniques do you think there are that people could use?
Well,
I could use.
I guess like the main one is meditation and mindfulness. So meditation's not that easy when you are dealing with a lot of trauma and anxiety, depression and stuff like that. So it's just about slowly building it up and trying to be mindful, like bring yourself back to the present moment. And the main thing that I've realised is getting to know your emotions, like sitting with yourself and not judging them. So
that's hard to do, huh?
It is very hard to do. And
that's
especially,
the trick, I think.
Yeah, and like with emotional intelligence, not everyone gets that growing up. So, especially if your mum has a few children to look after and stuff like that, and they've got their own inner child wounds that they haven't been able to process. I feel like it's just about actually sitting with yourself and learning what is this feeling and why do I feel like that, and just
why? Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not easy. Like, don't get me wrong. It's a journey and it's hard. There's emotions. You go with the ebb and flow, and it's just like, some days you'll be really down and out. But that's where don't judge yourself. Like, just sit with it and
just allow it to. Absorb it and
yeah, exactly, and know that it will pass. Like, you might be down today, but then once the emotions get processed, then you'll be able to move on and let go of that part to move into something a lot more positive, I guess.
That sounds that's a lot of wisdom there.
I've been on this journey for a while, so
that's cool.
Gone traveling and met some people, and I'm into healers and stuff like that. So whether it's like the psychic side of things or kinesiology and such.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of kinesiology?
No.
So
what is this?
How would I explain it? Basically, they connect with your body and like they can understand what emotions are stored in your body and how it has affected
like
you.
Physically?
Yeah.
Like at a point?
Yeah. So it's like what is it called? Emotional tapping or something like that. So like they kind of touch certain places of your body, and it's really like deep work, I guess. Like you would have to study for a while to understand it, but I've only been to a few sessions, and the stuff that they've like brought up to me that I wasn't aware of, such as repressed emotions and such like that, it was really, really deep, and I highly recommend it. But it's just, that's it. Like energy is, your emotions are energy.
Like stored energy.
Yeah, and as I was
saying,
so it gets repressed, and a lot of people like get stuck in the subconscious, and the subconscious rules 80% of your life. So until you bring it up to awareness, you won't be able to change habits and understand yourself. So you
need to be able to address it first, or identify, and then address it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
So I definitely recommend kinesiology. It's quite interesting.
Kinesiology.
Yeah.
I need to look into it a bit more.
Yeah, I wish I knew more how to explain it, but
that's all right.
Yeah.
You got the wheels rolling in my mind anyway.
Yeah.
So people can do their own research.
Yeah.
Kinesiology.
Yeah. So.
And so, does it include things like the chakra and like different temple points?
Yeah, I guess it does. So like
maybe just in a different name, I suppose. Huh?
Yeah, it depends on who you go to, because I've been to a couple of them, and like one of them worked with crystals and the chakras and everything like that. And then another lady was mainly just like I think they do kind of combine it, because there was like the flower
it's the principle,
essences.
I suppose. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. And everything like is energy. And I think more people are becoming aware of the energy and the meridian points in the body and such. So, yeah.
I'm interested in like the crystal aspect, because there has to be something in the crystals, yeah?
Yeah.
But I don't know if we know enough about it to explain it in a way that it's scientifically fact. Is that
I know. Like it's hard to understand, like because it's the metaphysical properties. So basically, again, it all goes back to energy, and each crystal has its own vibration. So with that, the vibration, the energy that they're sending out, that's the healing powers of the crystals. So with like clear quartz, it is like about clarity and clearing your mind and such like that, and it's a very powerful I guess energy healing stone. Like that's one of the main crystals. And then you've got like rose quartz, which is the pink one, which is more of a vibration of love.
Okay.
Yeah, they've all got their different vibrations, and that's what it all goes back to. So
that's what I think about often is energy, frequency, and vibrations,
Yeah.
Somewhere that's the key to everything, really.
Yeah, it is. And, it's been not spoken about for such a long time. And I feel like now with, like, I guess you could say the new age of spirituality and stuff, it is becoming more popular. So, a lot more people have an understanding. And I understand it also it's not for everybody. But if you do your research, it does make sense. Like, and if it resonates with you, then, yeah.
Why would you say it's not for everyone? Is it just because maybe we're there at in their life?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I don't know how the future's going to go. Like, some people might not ever be interested in the crystal or spiritual side of life, and, they might just have their own path and sense of direction. I'm not too sure. But, I definitely...
Maybe they're just not ready.
That's the other thing, but I don't want to say...
A lot of skeptical people.
Yes, definitely. And I think that's to go back to trauma and fear and just programming. So the way we have been led to believe. And, I feel like with this new healing, it's about coming into our own power and not depending on outside sources of other people's opinions or old limiting beliefs and such like that. So, it's the healing journey is about trusting yourself and your intuition and letting go of all that trauma from past generations as well. So I can talk about this for days. But
that's right. Yeah, I can listen for days.
Yeah, so basically like with our trauma, it's not just us. Like, it's passed on from our family, so our parents and our grandparents, and it can go back to as far as, 6-7 generations. So if you've got a cycle in your family, say like a single mum, and you look back how far that goes, and that's passed on through the DNA. So like it's not just the programming and like the way the parents were conditioned and such, it's also the DNA. So the trauma gets passed on through the DNA, and so does the talents and the gifts. But if we're living in trauma, it's very hard to embrace the talents and just be able to be free enough to be true to yourself and what you enjoy, because you've still got all like the depression and the anxiety and the negative subconscious thoughts that kind of hold you back. So with generational trauma, that's a very big one as well. And because of the past, like you look back at your grandparents and their great grandparents and such, it wasn't easy for them growing up. So like it's getting easier for us, and that's why we've got this opportunity now to do the research and do the work on ourselves. But we can't blame them, we can't judge them or anything, because they didn't have that opportunity. So I feel understanding how hard it would have been for them, and just the pain and the trauma and the limiting beliefs and the programming that they had to experience it built up over thousands and thousands of years. So
generations. But then we'll say future generations look back at our generation and say, we went through some extreme conditions as well, especially with coronavirus.
I know, that was a really big
I think
one.
people will look back at this period of time as like similar to how we look back at World War I and II,
Yeah, it's definitely a big event, isn't it? Like life-changing.
Yeah, and it really affected a lot of people's mental health, the social and economic issues that this coronavirus has kind of spawned off,
Yeah.
So that's a lot of good work that we can help with research,
Yeah, I definitely feel, and with like the coronavirus, like I feel everything happens as it should. Like everything happens. Where you are is where you're meant to be, kind of thing. As hard as it is to comprehend with, grief and loss and everything else, but there is a bigger purpose to all of this. And with last year, especially us being in lockdown for so many months, I feel that it is really hard, but it's to trigger that awakening, so people didn't have the distractions to go about their day and, work.
Appreciate a lot of the smaller things,
Yeah, exactly. So we're so busy with work and like the whole patriarch society of, you've got to make money, you've got to get a house, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And then, so basically without that, it forced a lot of people to go through that rock bottom kind of stage, like,
reassess.
Yeah.
I think I went through that.
Did you really?
That's how this podcast came out.
Well, see, beautiful things come from it. And that's like
so.
The plague. I think back to the plague and then how the Renaissance came after that. So it's like there was a lot of inner work done and then a lot of beauty came after it. So, hard
a lot of truth in that,
Yeah, exactly.
I believe so.
So it's like, beautiful things can come from the hard times, and that's the lesson in everything. Like everything shall pass. You're never going to suffer forever.
I always look at it as everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I believe personally that reason mainly comes from yourself, and the energies and your thoughts and everything that you kind of you give off into the universe, say. It's all kind of working in sync towards, that direction that you're putting yourself towards. A lot of people do it unconsciously, but I think once you become a bit more conscious to that, you start to see things unravel little by little, as the way that you kind of feel inside, as you would expect, I think. But yeah, that's just my point of view anyway.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like
I want
everything.
to know how I can use these crystals to help even better.
Well, again, like with meditation, so because you can feel the frequencies of the crystals if you're bringing yourself to the mindfulness.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so it's just about I guess seeing which crystal you're drawn to and just working with that one to begin with. But yeah, there's
Is there a way you could tell? Is it just by like intuition when you I suppose hold one or near?
Well, basically intuition, but I can tell you a funny story, kind of. When I first found spirituality, my sister had a crystal book, and she told me I should read the crystal book, and I was going through a really dark stage at the time. I had broken up with my ex-partner of 5 years, and my dog was sick, so she ended up getting put down, and
no.
yeah, so, and she was like my little familiar. She was my soul animal. Like,
these are family members, you know?
Yeah, she really was. She followed me everywhere, and her name was Diamond. She was a beautiful dog.
Rest in peace, Diamond.
Yeah, she's still with me. I can feel her. But yeah, so I was at my home, and my sister come home with her friends, and they were in the room, and I stayed in there for about an hour. And at the beginning of me walking in there, she's like, "You should do the crystal, like open up the crystal book." And this is before I was really aware of anything. I was very skeptical.
Yeah.
And as I went to walk out an hour later, the wind blew the crystal book off the window. Because first she goes, "Are you going to do the reading?" And I told her, "No, I'll do it tomorrow." And then the wind knocked the book off the window. So I was like,
it's a sign.
Yeah, everyone's like, "That's a sign, Chloe." So I was like, okay, I need to do it. And I grabbed the book and I went in my room and I opened it up, and the page that I got was carnelian. And carnelian's root chakra crystal. So it's red and it helps heal the root, which is like your trauma, mainly stability. Root chakra is stability. So if you've got a blocked root chakra, all the rest will pretty much be blocked because it's your main one. It's the one at the base.
A root chakra, so that's
the one right down the bottom at the base. Yeah, so that's all about stability in life and such. And yeah, so anyway, I continued reading the book, and it said like that kind of information, and then it went on to talk about how emotional abuse. It's a healing of emotional abuse, and that's what I went through with my ex-partner. So that's why I ended up in such a dark place, because I wasn't listening to my intuition. I had to understand the family trauma of like why I attract such a nasty relationship and such. And then from that moment on, I went to get my carnelian crystal from the crystal shop the next day.
How easy was it?
Yeah.
Was it easy? Like, is it quite accessible to get
good crystals?
Good crystals, yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So I only got a tumblestone. It was little crystal, $4, and I felt that was enough for me. So just, I always kept it in my pocket, and it definitely did help. But since then, I've upgraded my crystal collection, so I've got a few bigger ones at the moment. But carnelian, like it just led me to that crystal, and that was basically the start of my spiritual journey, and I want to go back. Cool. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So it was just as soon as I opened up to the signs and the universe, then they just kept coming. So it was just like that's where I knew there was more to life, because I used to always question it. Yeah. Growing up, I was always like, what is life? Like, who is God? Like, why are we here?
As you should ask these questions,
Yeah, but I never got answers. But it wasn't until
Does anyone have the answer?
No, not really.
I'd like to meet this person. If it is a person.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, I was just like, there has to be more to life. And it wasn't until I was ready at the age of 25 that I started seeing and feeling. Feeling is the main thing. So living from your heart is more important, because we're so stuck in our ego mind. So, with the whole thinking and like trying to get on top and everything else, we're very trapped in our ego. And I am still to this day. But, it's just about bringing yourself back to the present moment and trying to keep your heart chakra open and living from that and your intuition. So,
that's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you had to go through those kind of adversities to reach where you are now. I think that's an awesome thing, yeah. And now it's led you on this other path.
Yeah.
This whole nother path. So meditation. So you would use meditation in conjunction with the crystals?
Yeah,
Does it just help to amplify kind of the vibrations that much more?
Yeah. and it's it's good to just bring yourself to the present moment so that you can get all the effects of the crystal. Yeah.
So what's the technique with that? Because I like the idea of meditation. I just don't know how to apply it, effectively.
Yeah, well, I'm on and off with meditation. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, it's not that easy, especially if you're dealing with a lot of other things like anxiety and such. But my favorite is focusing on your breath. I've been taught like there's holding onto your heart and your stomach and doing really big, deep belly breathing like a baby would do. So basically like 4 deep breaths in, and then you hold it for 4, and then you release it for 4, and then you hold the release for 4 as well. So it's like a 4-box breath kind of thing.
That's a new technique.
Yeah, so I find breathing...
That would be good too, because you're using your senses as well, like touching...
That one definitely works the easiest for me because I have an overactive mind. Like I love thinking, love learning, and just to bring myself back.
How do we stop thinking?
Yeah, I know. That's why Eckhart Tolle says the present moment is all that matters. But it's like, but sometimes it's not easy to stay there. So
it's
not
probably
at all.
The hardest thing to do.
Yeah, it really is, especially this day and age. But with the healing and, people doing their work, it's the journey. It takes time. So, and we're only human. So we're going to fall in and out of it. And
we're learning as we go.
Exactly. We all can't be Eckhart Tolle, but we're getting there.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So this is similar things that you would be discussing with this group you're going to meet up with today?
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to bring our crystals and our cards and such like that. And
did you say cards?
Yeah, Oracle Tarot cards. It's kind of one of my other hobbies. So
that's cool. Tell me more about that, because
it's just like a divination tool to kind of get they're not bad. A lot of people are scared of them because they don't understand them, but it's just to get that understanding. So like if you're, in a dark place or whatever, and especially oracle cards. So oracle cards each have personal messages on there, whereas tarot's got the same kind of messages through them. So like tarot's the one style with the major arcanas and then the minor arcanas, which each have their own meaning. But with oracle cards, they're more guidance. So basically like if you need guidance from the spirit world or whatever, you can just shuffle them and say a little prayer and pull out a card. And again, that really helps to understand where you're at and what your, next steps are. Or it kind of just gives you that, like you kind of already know, but having the answers there in a different perspective is really helpful. So
I think I'm like that naturally,
Are you really?
Yeah, like you come up with a thought and then you have the options, and then you just kind of, in a way, just, I tell myself, you make a decision and this will be, the answer.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just, it's like using your gut, but that's just in a more constructive form, I think, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. So that's what I mean. Like,
I think most people do that subconsciously, yeah?
Yeah, and the trusting of your gut is the most important thing, like your intuition and everything. But oracle cards and tarot are just there for a little bit more guidance for those who need it. And,
it helps with the visualization, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. So, again, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely something I enjoy.
Do you think that has like a bit of a stigma to it?
Yeah, a lot of things do. Like I love numerology, and there's a lot of people who don't want to hear about it because their ego is like, no, that's bad, I shouldn't be listening, or just like what they've been told about them before, like they feel like it's evil, or it's against God's will and such like that. But like to me, they're harmless.
God invented everything, didn't he?
Exactly. So, how can you say, and
Oh,
again,
no, guys.
the rules, like, why do we need rules against things that are actually helping people? So,
That's right.
yeah, because like the cards helped me, especially when I was in a dark place, and I haven't used them recently, which I kind of want to get back in the habit of it, just to be able to help other people, because I have done readings for people, and they've been really grateful for just that perspective and the guidance that I was able to give them. But I've put them away for a bit, and I've just been in hermit mode, focusing on myself, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That's probably the best thing to do.
yeah, definitely.
I just had a thought there, like with the whole God thing. I guess I want to understand people's understandings of God. Their perception of what God actually is. And so, if you think about it as like God as the ultimate, the Almighty, my question is: did God create everything? Because then everything is God's will, in a way. And I often feel like when people use God as a reason or even a weapon, then it's almost disrespectful that you feel that you have to go and do God's will, instead of allowing things to happen naturally. That when people take it upon themselves, I just find it like it's almost very disrespectful in a sense where you think that God doesn't have the capability or the power to do what you believe is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
it is a tough one to understand, I guess, because we've all got our journeys, and is it the ego, especially with the negative side of
ego,
God's will? And I guess it would be part of the ego saying God's will, like, I need to do this. But then there's also the part of the gratitude for God and like our purpose. So knowing what our purpose is and wanting to do good for God as well, whatever God is to you. So like
that's it.
Yeah, it's really hard to understand. Like, I don't think it's a guy just sitting there on a chair, but yeah, like everything, it goes back to the metaphysics of like everything is energy, and basically energy can't be recreated or destroyed, it can only be transformed. So we all came from the same place, we all came from source energy, and it's just about getting back there, I guess, like doing the work and going through the hard times to get to the good times, I guess. So yeah, it's a very tricky subject to that one. I wish I had the answers.
Exactly. So what about like intergalactic side of things? Is that kind of like, is that another aspect of like spirituality?
Yeah, it definitely is. So
Excuse me.
it goes back to like the city of Atlantis as well, and stuff like that. And then you've got Palladians and other kind of aliens, I guess you could say. But I know a little bit about the subject, but I haven't fully dove deep into it yet.
So what do you know? Because I'm always intrigued with the story of Atlantis.
Yeah, well, it was a real city, basically. And I think it was actually the YouTube channel Spirit Science. I watched it a couple of years ago, and it resonated with me a lot. But it was talking about how, Atlantis was more of a feminine energy, like matriarch society, where not so much women-led, but like intuition-led. And instead of, people wanting to work, and now we're in the patriarch, where it's like masculine energy about dominance and war and that kind of energy. Atlantis was more loving, intuitive, and going with the flow. And then, on Spirit Science, they explain how Martians came from Mars, and Mars was a more masculine place. And when the Martians came, that kind of caused a disruption between the Atlantis and the Mars. And I think that's why the city ended up sinking, or I can't remember exactly. But it was just basically the combination of the energies, and then the masculine dominated with the war and everything else. So it's pretty crazy when you think about it. But I watched a movie by Shirley MacLaine just the other night.
Okay.
Do you know the older actress?
Probably by face. I don't know.
She'd be about 80 or something now. And in 1980s, she made a mini-series. It goes for about 3.5 hours, and it's called Out on a Limb. And it actually talks about her spiritual journey and how she started to learn about reincarnation and crystals and psychics and channelers and such. And she ended up going to Peru, I think, or Machu Picchu. On the search of aliens. So, because apparently...
That'll be a place to find them.
Find
some evidence.
Yeah, everyone claimed in the movie, like, to have seen the UFOs and such like that. And then, one of them actually said, like, he met a woman from out of this world. And, in that movie, she has out-of-body experiences, and, she goes through a stage where she thinks she's crazy and she doesn't want to know any more about it because it's so far-fetched from the 3D reality that we do live in, because we have been shut off from it, with religion and, just people's judgment and science and stuff like that. Like, scientists claim that psychics have schizophrenia, and that's just to make people scared of, getting in touch with your higher self and, your spirit guides and such. So there's a lot of taboo around these subjects because they're keeping us from our higher self and keeping us stuck in this society where it's the patriarch of we just need to work for someone higher than us and, work until we buy a house and then have children and then we retire, and then all that money we've worked for is just going to get inherited by our children. So it's like we never really actually get to live. And it's like the world doesn't have to be like that. And with materialism and, just society about like all the advertisements of you need this and you need this product to feel good about yourself. And, it's keeping us away from actual self-love. It's making us, insecure and, it's really not healthy, but that's the way that it's been happening. So now we're kind of breaking those chains of how society has created all of these insecurities and such. And self-love is a really, really big thing. But so with the Out on the Limb movie with Shirley MacLaine, she basically in the movie, she was meant to have this experience so she could create the movie and let other people know they're not crazy. She didn't want to because she's like, I don't want to go out on a limb. Like, I don't want people to think I'm crazy. And then just with her journey and everything, she had to. So, it was a really, really beautiful movie. I definitely recommend it. And it helps you understand, like, you're not the only one going through this crazy awakening, because from crystals to aliens, out-of-body experiences, like, it's a lot of people are still skeptical on it, but like you said, it's not their time. So,
How much of, not sure the exact word for it, but it's not DMT, but it's the...
Ayahuasca.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I'd love to try that one day.
Yeah. I wonder if part of that experience was during that whole did she partake in doing the ayahuasca?
Not in the movie, she didn't.
Oh
yeah, so
just because I associate with like South America and Machu Picchu, and I think it's a form of medicine, really, ayahuasca, because it does a lot of things like we're talking about. It gets us thinking and addressing our inner deep traumas. It's a very powerful thing that a lot of people use. I've never tried it, but be interesting. Huh?
Yeah, no, I'd like to try it. I've heard some good things about it, but just like the whole ritual.
Have you? I've heard the opposite.
Really?
I've heard like I think the outcome
is the good thing.
The good thing. Yep. But like going through the whole process, there's a lot of vomiting and
detoxing beforehand because
yeah.
of the fact is we've got all these toxins in our body from, living with the pollution and whether it's smoking cigarettes or eating junk food and stuff like
sugar.
that. Yeah, it keeps our body at a low vibration, and when you're at a low vibration, you can't connect as easily. So I think with Ayushka, it's like from one low vibration to this extreme high vibration, which brings you to, the fifth dimension or whatever you want to call it. But even marijuana. So marijuana is a source of connecting as well. Like it gets you thinking, and it kind of gets you feeling and understanding things on a deeper level, and that's probably why they've tried to ban it for so long.
Hey.
Yeah, because
Don't speak too much.
No, but it's like I don't recommend smoking it every day or whatever, but like when you do, it can give you a new perspective or awareness, and it also helps relax you, like in this day and age, like, it brings you back to not reality as much.
Baseline, just
a different understanding. Better understanding.
I've never done it before. Like never, apart from alcohol. I've personally never done any drugs. Not to say I won't in the future.
Yeah, Ayushka.
Exactly. But yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I think a lot of these so-called drugs, they have properties that can help us.
Yeah.
I think so, because a lot of people say the same thing.
Yeah.
So there must be some truth in it.
And that's with like the healing of cancer as well. So, it does help a lot of cancer patients and such, which is why they are legalizing it medically, and with anxiety and such as well. But, basically like, so on my journey, I've learnt that our thoughts create our reality. Therefore, our thoughts also create our diseases. And, if you, how do I explain it? Basically, if you do have a certain sickness or whatever, there's always a metaphysical cause behind it. So a habit or a way of thinking or a way of acting has created this. So, for example, breast cancer can be caused by nurturing others and not nurturing yourself. So, a mum with breast cancer who puts all of her love and energy into her children or her husband, or, all of her self-worth is outside of herself. So her body's unconsciously creating this to say, you need to stop, you need to take a step back and bring yourself back to me, the present, the body, and bring that awareness to what you need to change, because
just in itself, I think, metaphysically.
Yeah. So, and like again with generations, like if the grandma had it as well as the great grandma, like that's been passed on through the DNA and the conditioning, and that's all they've known to look after other people, because a lot of people could get shamed or like told, no, you need to do this for us. You need to put us first. How dare you? Like, it's selfish if you wanted to go do this or travel or whatever. So it's like a lot of guilt and such can create these diseases. And, like even if you Google it, like you can always look for the metaphysical cause and tell me if it relates. Like a lot of times I've, whether it's my sinuses playing up or whatever, I used to check the cause, and sinus is frustration with self or someone else. And I'm like, I can definitely understand. Yeah, so it's like when you're frustrated, you're not doing, like not listening to your intuition or such, like it could be acting up. So, yeah, like there's, if you hurt...
Sounds right.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, whenever it happens, I'm like, oh gosh. But, for example... if you've got an ingrown toe, depending on what side it's on, it's like not moving forward in life. So, and I'm talking from experience, my left side is feminine energy. So basically, like there was that guilt and fear about letting my mum down. So I was holding myself back in it unconsciously because I didn't want to move up. I was too scared to focus on myself because there was that guilt of needing to look after my mum and my sisters and such like that. So, end up with an ingrown toe, and got that fixed. So, yeah, stepped forward in life and decided to focus more on myself and what I want from life. So, which was always hard because I did grow up with a big family. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
How big was it?
I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers.
Oh, that is big.
Yeah, yeah. So being my own person was always tricky. And, 4th oldest as well. So right in the middle, I guess you could say. And, just always had someone to keep me busy or distracted. Like there was never,
yeah, I'm sure.
time to focus on who I am and what I want to do. And there was a lot of conditioning of letting people down and stuff if I was to do my own thing. So
very family orientated, I suppose. Huh?
Yeah, very, very close-knit family. And I guess you could say in a sense codependent as well, because we did depend on each other quite a bit. So breaking away from those habits and codependencies and such has been part of my healing journey as well. But so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, very. So growing up, were you born here in Victoria?
Yeah, I was
local,
born Bacchus Marsh, but
Bacchus Marsh,
basically lived just 2 streets away my whole life until about 2 years ago we sold the family home. So, I didn't live there my whole life. I've moved around and stuff, but 2 years ago Mum sold the family home. So,
She must be a millionaire now.
No, not really.
With house prices.
Yeah, well, it was just...
Here's not so bad, actually.
Yeah, it was all right. Like, she got an okay amount for it, so she
not like
had
Sydney
to buy.
or in other places in the world.
Yeah.
So you were living there before she sold it?
I moved back before she sold it because I've got attachment issues. No, I was just like, I didn't want her to sell it. And so I was just like, I'm going to move back for a bit. And so I moved.
Would have had a lot of memories.
Yeah, well, we moved in when I was 4, so I think about 23 years we lived there for. And my little brother, he passed away in the house as well. So that's...
that's big.
Yeah, it is. That's why my mum sold it. So, like, the pain was too much for her, whereas I wanted to hold on to it because of the memories. But, everything happens as it should. Like, I love the saying, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking back. So, how things have happened, like her selling the house, the experiences, the people I've met afterwards and, where I've lived and stuff. It's definitely helped shape me to who I am. And, so it's like I can't be angry about her selling the house.
Well, you're just going to have to buy it in the future.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what I think with our family house. Like back in NZ, in Auckland.
Yeah.
I always have this thing like I want to buy that house, one day.
Yeah, well, I thought that too. I'm like, hopefully, like if only I could have...
We've got our whole lives ahead of us,
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen. But it's just I feel like coming back here because I was living away for the last 6 months and now I'm, 2 streets away from the family home. It's kind of brought me back to move forward in life. So it's like I've got a different understanding, a different perspective, and now it's time to just reflect on the past in a way. And
that's growth, huh?
Yeah, see how far I have come and about letting go, I guess, because it's like walking around the streets on my morning walks and stuff. I'm just like, gosh, the memories, like,
memories, that's what life is, memories, really.
Yeah, that's all we take with us when we go. So, that's the most important things.
So, I don't want to talk too much about your younger brother's passing, but how did he pass away, if you don't mind?
He had asthma.
Oh, yeah. And Melbourne is pretty bad, huh?
It was around the time of the asthma storms, about 3.5 years ago.
Oh, that was recent, yeah.
Yeah, so, his was quite bad as well. And, Yeah, so like I just moved out a month beforehand because I was back home for a little bit, and I was beating myself up. I'm like, why am I back home? Like, no, but this is before he passed away. I was like, I shouldn't be here. I'm an adult. I should be living on my own, what society deems acceptable. And then I moved out about a month before he passed away, and now I reflect on the 5 months that I lived there and got to spend those 5 months with him before he passed. And that's why I see everything happens as it should. So you can't judge it. You can't beat yourself up over it because...
Just enjoy the journey, as I say.
Exactly. It's all about the journey. And, you can kick yourself for something that's happening all you want, but when you go forward and connect the dots, it's all happened for a reason. So I'm very grateful that I did spend those 5 months there, and I wish I was a bit more positive about it when I was there. But
you were as positive as you had to be in that time and point,
Yeah, exactly. We can't go back. But he was only 8 years old when he passed away.
8 years old.
Yeah, I got his handwriting tattooed.
Oh, that's his handwriting? Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
So out of one of his school books, and he went to the local school, and he was such a gorgeous kid. Yeah, very happy, always the light in the family. Like he just made life easy. So yeah.
Oh, that definitely would have been hard on you and your whole family. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He was the youngest. Yeah.
Youngest. That's a cool tattoo because I saw it earlier and I was like, oh, must be some kind of like international language or something. But no, okay.
Yeah, it's just his handwriting. And this is my great-grandma, her handwriting as well. So, not her handwriting, just her name, sorry, Lita. But, I had to get that for him. And I got him on the same side because I was 16 when I got it.
Oh, 16, then, that's pretty young.
Yeah, I know. I had my father's permission. But I have this one here because it's close to my heart. So, I wanted it. Yeah, basically. So I'm like, I could have got it on that side, but the more
that's
meaning.
That's a good spot for it.
Yeah. But
do you have the tattoo bug?
No, not at all. Like I'd like to get more in the future, but I'm big on meaningful tattoos. So I'd like to get one of my dog one day because she was such a big part of me. But
What was your dog's name?
Diamond.
Oh, that's right. You said,
yeah. She was gorgeous. She was a white dog, blue and brown eye. So,
It's like husky kind of thing, eh?
Well, she was a white boxer cross.
White boxer.
Yeah, kind of bull Arab, white boxer, bull Arab. So she had the normal nose, not the boxer snout. Yeah, but she was harmless. Like she was so gentle and just a beautiful soul. Yeah, so 2 big losses in the same year.
Oh, it was the same year.
She was just before my 25th birthday, which was December, and my brother passed away September the next year.
And that was about 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2017. So that, like, I've, dealing with grief and processing those emotions and stuff, so it has been a journey, and it hasn't been easy, but...
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you'll get through it.
Yeah. Grief always stays with you, so it's just learning to look at it from a different perspective.
You have to go through it, though,
Yeah, and I know I'm not the only one. Like, I remember your mum's podcast, how she said everyone's got their story and, just be kind. And it's so true. Like, you never know what anyone else has gone through or what they are going through and, why they are the way they are. So it's like you can't judge. You just got to be as loving as you can, like, without obviously getting walked over or whatever. But just, try not to be mean at the end of the day.
But I think once you have that empathy and you can apply it to everyone, then it does make you a kind person.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I always approach anyone, like any stranger, even if they've done something, which people would think is a bit annoying. Say, for example, if someone cuts you off, or someone does something to you, most people's reaction is to get angry because, hurt people. But I've for a few years now, I've realized that everyone has their stories and I just, every time something happens, I imagine them going at their worst time. They lost their son or they lost their best friend or their younger brother. And then it just makes me feel for that person that may have cut me off.
Yeah, exactly.
or has done something to me. And by using like that understanding that this is a a person, a human that is just living their life. They may not know or that they've done something intentionally to me, but I'm not going to allow that to, to hurt me, to feel like I have to get some kind of revenge on any scale.
Yeah.
And I think the more that I apply that to people, then I guess they kind of open up more back. And so in that process, I've just eliminated one side of hurt instead of having both people hurt and then having it kind of compound, and then we all go our separate ways, and we have that energy and we give it off. I think it's good to just understand that empathy, that that everyone has that story, and just give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, not to take it personal. It's projection of what they're going through, not a reflection of you. So I'm actually reading a book at the moment. I just started, and it's called The Four Agreements. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, sounds cool though.
Yeah,
The Four Agreements.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, and the first chapter is about being impeccable with your word, and it talks about basically that. And it says, like, for instance, if you say to someone, oh, that dress looks ugly, you've then cast a spell, and that person's led to believe that the dress is ugly, they feel ugly, and there's
like an effect.
Yeah, like you were saying. So
effect.
The subconscious mind, like if you choose to believe that, like, it creates those thoughts and the momentum builds up and such. And it was saying be impeccable with your word. So, like, instead of gossiping,
Man, I believe that.
And instead of gossiping and such, give people benefit of the doubt, and then like, just send them love, and try to be that light in everybody's life, because you don't want to project and create that negative momentum. And then the next chapter is about, which I'm just about to start to read, don't take anything personal. So they all stem from being impeccable with your word, and then don't take it personal. If someone is having a bad day and they judge you and call you stupid, it's like, that's them dealing with something. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, unless you really feel stupid because you got told as a child or something growing up that you were stupid, so then when someone says it, it kind of reassures you, and so it's like, it's just about, why do I feel stupid, or like, why would I let that get to me? What is it in me that I need to let go of? Because we're not stupid at the end of the day.
Well, understand, once you understand it, it helps you realize where to place the energy, because you give power to words, and I think a big one is the words that you utter under your breath. I think that's a big one. A lot of people, I notice, when they say, if they're just speaking to someone and then they turn and they'll say something, I think those words you have to be very conscious of. Like, those words that you say to yourself under your breath, that is it really shows who you are at that point in your life. Because a lot of people, they say some negative things under their breath. I think that's like a reflection. That, to me, once you know that is a reflection of who you are as a character, your personality, like, be mindful of it. And then that could probably help you, maybe change a few things in the way that you approach a situation.
I definitely agree. And the book does talk about how, like, gossiping is such a bad spell. Like, because words are spells at the end of the day. And if you're talking badly about somebody or something, or even yourself, you're putting that energy out into the world. And, it's the same as thinking as well. If you're thinking negatively about someone and, someone might hurt you, like you said, but you could want to say to someone, they did this, they're a horrible person, but it's like, you don't know why they did that and what it stemmed from. So it's like, you can't judge them. You can be hurt, don't get me wrong, but we're all going through our own stuff. So, like, holding on to that grudge or whatever is never healthy either. But gossip is definitely bad, and in the book it talks about how it stems from conditioning. So, like, you would have grown up with your parents talking badly about people, and that's given you that understanding that it's okay to do, and subconscious, again, ruling 80% of your life, that's all you're used to. And until you bring your mindfulness to it and work on being aware of it and understanding it, you will continue living unconsciously, talking bad and creating more bad realities for you. So,
and your surroundings, which feeds back into your reality.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. Your thoughts, your feelings, they create your reality at the end of the day. So it's like you can blame other people as much as you want. Oh, they're a bad person. They did this to me. They did this to me. But it's like, what is it in you that you need to look at and reflect on and change? Like, it's never outside of yourself. It's always within you, what you are going to tolerate and, how you're going to talk about people and such and what you're creating. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Oh, that's really cool. I just love the whole mindfulness about, about that, the energies between, what we give off and how it kind of it goes, but then it comes, Yeah. It's just in waves.
Yeah.
And I think once you're mindful about it, it changes your behavior.
Definitely.
For the better. Because deep down, I don't think, most people don't want to live, a negative lifestyle. But a lot of people just don't know how to get out of, that rut.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No,
crystals and meditation, that's a good one.
Yeah, but it's so true. Like, it's all about the journey. Like I was saying 4 or 5 years ago, I was a very skeptical person in a depression, breakup and grieving. And, like I didn't have this knowledge at that time. So
and a lot of people don't have it, This is why it's so important to discuss these things.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be quite difficult to grasp.
Yeah, it can be. It really can. And, so basically, like, where I was at 25, like, in a really dark place and not knowing how to get out of it. So that started my journey of wanting to understand more and wanting to understand myself and how I could be a better person. And, like, I didn't want to feel that pain anymore. So, like, that was kind of what led me on my journey. And, like, we're human. We're always going to feel pain. We're always going to be evolving and experiencing things to grow from them. But now I've got that awareness. I'm not such a victim, I guess. Like, I was stuck in that victim mentality those years ago. And now with I found my hobbies. I've found philosophy of, the deeper meaning to certain things that resonate with me. And it's really helped me understand where you are now is where you're meant to be. And, like, we can't stop all the bad things, but we can focus on our own healing. And with that, with each person focusing on themselves, we're going to make the world a better place. So we can't change anybody. We can only change ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the most important thing. So, yeah, it's a beautiful journey. As ugly as it is, it's very beautiful at the same time. So.
Well, it's subjective. I think it's all beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. It can be hard, like, accepting why things have happened and stuff.
And who are we? We're still living.
Yeah.
We could sound quite naive in the future, looking back.
I know, that's the thing. We can always change.
That's the beauty of doing podcasts as well, is we can always look back and kind of assess ourselves.
Yeah. See, like, how we have changed. And
I still feel the same.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. But, that's it. Like, I don't know everything, but this is my journey and what has helped me and my understanding of certain things. And I love learning. So I love getting other people's perspectives. And, if it resonates, and I'll let go of something if it doesn't resonate, and always make room for more. Like, I'm still young and there's a lot I don't know.
Very young.
Yeah. So there is a lot I don't know. And yeah, like I said, this has just helped me up until this point, and it is my understanding and what helps me, what resonates with me.
So you mentioned hobbies. What kind of hobbies do you get into?
I guess numerology is my big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's like similar to astrology, but it's about your birthday numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So basically you have your life path number and it tells you challenges that you're going to face throughout your lifetime. And with me, I'm a 7, so 7s are about
That's
spiritual.
a lucky number, apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's God's number.
God's number.
7.
Sorry.
No, not being
number.
like that. But it's so basically
all the best ones.
The lesson of a 7 is to come out of their mind, their ego, and bring themselves back to their heart, which is what I'm in the process of doing. Because in a past life, if we want to talk about them, a 7 was either too soft-hearted or too hard-hearted, and their heart got damaged. So in this life, they've chosen to open up their heart through certain experiences, and because they're so stuck, and 7s are very skeptical until they have their awakening.
There's characteristics, huh?
Yeah. And then, so basically, like, understanding that about myself and my life path, it's helped me understand my journey. But, so 7's like meant to be the spiritual number, but they're very materialistic or skeptical before they have that awakening. And that's like I was saying earlier, like I used to always question, like, what is the purpose? Like I just didn't believe in anything until I started seeing the signs, and now my whole perspective has changed. So,
So how do you know your number? Is it kind of like on your own intuition?
No, so your whole birthday, you need to add it together. So like each individual number, for instance, we'll just do an easy one. The first of the 10th, 2001. So you'd be like 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. So it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that'd be a life path 5.
So what about the 3rd of November?
Well, we have to know the year as well.
1984.
1984, so 10. You're a 9. I'm pretty sure you're a 9.
That's like my favorite number.
Is it really? That's so crazy. 9s,
nines
are very spiritual in the sense as well, because
I wouldn't know.
they're like kind of here to tie up loose ends, and so the humanitarian number, they're here to help others. So it really makes sense that you're a 9, especially wanting to do this podcast.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was just like thinking to say, I choose 9. Works out.
Trust
my
your
number's
intuition.
already 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, 27.
So there's some truth in there.
Yeah, it really is. So it makes sense. I should have guessed that you were probably a 9. But
So what are the numbers then?
It goes from 1 to 9.
1 to 9.
But then there's master numbers. So you've got the master number 11, 22, or 33. So for example, if your birthday equaled 29, you'd break that down to 2 + 9 = 11. And that's a master number. So they've kind of got double challenges, like they kind of want to speed up their process a bit. And master number 11 is the master healer, 22 is the master builder, 33 is the master teacher. So they've got
that's pretty intense.
It really is. I'll have to talk about this another day.
No, we'll talk about it now. We've got time.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
So
we'll
basically, what's it called? Yeah, so with the master numbers, they have to learn the challenges of the single digit first. So 11 needs to learn the challenges of the 2, which is about nurturing and such early on in life. And then, as they hit, like, I guess their 40s, then they can bring forward the challenges of the 11, which is about what they've already experienced and what they've learned, and they're able to help other people with it. So, whether it's through healing or teaching or something. So,
that's really interesting. I have to look into it a bit more.
Yeah, I'll definitely love to tell you more about the 9 as well, because I'm getting back into studying it. So,
cool. We'll have to catch up again, and you can give me a whole what is it?
A blueprint, I guess.
Blueprint,
because it's so much deeper. Like your personality numbers are 5, which is 5 is very outgoing and loves travel and freedom and such like that as well. So people perceive you as a very friendly person, and like I know that because I'm a 5 as well, my personality number. But like the 3 in your birthday is about communication and creativity and such as well. So that's where that energy comes from. because
That
numbers
explains a lot.
it really does once you look into it. And numbers are energy, like everything's vibration. So that's why it makes so much sense.
Mathematics of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah, and wasn't maths like the first thing ever or something? I don't know. I've never been
not
big
sure.
on maths, but I love numerology, so it's like
that's
I
cool.
never thought I'd like numbers much, but I do. So
If only we could go back in time in school, eh?
yeah, tell me
And
about
Excel.
it. No, but everything happens
Just
as it
kidding,
should.
Just kidding, yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you got to go soon, yeah?
Maybe half an hour.
Oh, yeah?
We
okay.
can if well
Yeah,
we'll
I need
see
to
how
learn
we
more
go.
about this number 9.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying, like, really, like, resonates with me. You know, like the number 3, creativity.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm a bit of a, like, if I was to explain, like, myself in, like, 1 or 2 words, it would be, like, problem solving.
Yeah.
Because I look at art as, like, problem solving too.
Yeah, so that would definitely be that side, the 3 energy as well with creativity, communication, like that kind of understanding on the deeper things.
Communicating is difficult for me.
Yeah.
But understanding, I feel like, yeah, I'm pretty good at understanding.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good at communicating. Like
I'm trying to practice.
Yeah, you're definitely like working towards it. So that's building up on that. But yeah, I guess having that understanding as well. And did you say like art, creativity? Have you been interested?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did most of my life. Is just painting, murals.
wow.
I studied the Renaissance. You know,
Wow.
like throughout my whole childhood, like I've always been known as the art person. You know.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
really does make sense for you then. Yeah.
So how do you work it out again? So 3 plus 11?
3 plus 1 plus 1.
1.
Yeah, plus 1.
And then the year.
Yeah, I wish I had a piece of paper here because I'd be able to show you your
There you go.
blueprint. Oh, okay.
Pen and paper on cue.
All right. I'll just, here.
Yeah.
So basically, this is just a quick blueprint. So the 3rd of the 11th, 1984. Okay. So...
Oh, why do you have to work it out like that?
Because that shows how much vibrations you have in that number. For instance, with the 3 ones there, you love to talk. Like you love talking about anything and everything except for the deeper emotions, like your feelings and such. So maybe even as a child, you liked to chat a lot. Like I love to talk as well. I've got the 3 ones there. But you've got the 3, the 4, the 9, so they all represent different things. But you've also got a plane here, and I can't think of what it is because I'm still trying to remember those. But I'll get back to you once I get to my books.
Yeah.
But so the 3 energies there, you've got the 4 about being a provider, stability and stuff like that. And then the 9, having the 9, 9 is all about wisdom. So 9's intelligence and again humanitarian, caring for others and looking for the deeper meaning in things. And then the 8 is about finances, materialistic things, like having that stability within money matters, I guess. So yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, so that's
the 4? That's
the provider.
provider.
Yeah. So the 3 ones there as well, that gives you like that extra talking energy, which is probably really good that you're doing a podcast.
Oh, sheesh, I'm trying.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's
I'll show it up here, so just in case. That's what we're talking about.
yeah. So that's the blueprint to numerology.
That's cool.
But yeah, so I'll definitely look into that and give you some more information once I do my studies.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because it's really interesting. And when I first found out about numerology, I knew I had numerology books at my mum's house. So
you did?
Yeah, from when I was growing up.
Subconsciously you knew.
Yeah, well, I remember Mum brought us some for Christmas one year, and like astrology and numerology were probably like 10 or 12 years old, and what's it called? I went home and I'm like, I've got to find these books, and I'm looking on the bookcase, and all of a sudden I seen this little book from the 80s or something. It was like falling apart, and it was called Numerology for Your Child, and I was just like, okay, because I really want to work with children, and it helps me. Like, I do have a deeper understanding in children and how they behave and stuff like that because of numerology, not just their life path, but the numbers in their blueprint as well. So, yeah, it gives me that deeper understanding. So that's why I love it and why I really want to study it and bring it forward in the future, because
That's cool.
yeah, whether I'm a teacher or something, just having that understanding, like why a child is acting that way, or
I tell you, they act a lot.
Children are hard. They're your biggest triggers, the biggest lessons, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
Teaching me a lot.
yeah, teach you patience and to embrace your inner child as well, I guess. So
you don't have any children of your own at the moment?
Not yet. Hopefully.
You're still quite young, aren't you?
Yeah, 29, but
I think 40 is young, so 29 is you still got a long way to go.
And that's it. So like, I'm more than happy to be, wait till I'm 30 something.
When the time is right,
Yeah, not rushing it. So I'd like to travel before I have children.
You and me both.
Yeah.
So all right, let's talk about travel now. It's going to take an hour.
Probably will. Well, I went to Europe years ago, and like I was saying before, I didn't get to see as much of Europe as I wanted. Like I went to...
You were there for a month or so?
Just over a month, yeah.
That's nice. That's a lot of time.
It was a lot of time, but we were on a budget. Yeah, exactly. And being on a budget's great as well, but I don't know. I could have probably done more, but...
So where did you stay?
Stayed in England with my uncle for about a week, and then what's it called? Went to Porto in Portugal, which is like one of my favourite cities.
I haven't been there.
I don't know. There was
been Spain or Portugal.
They're beautiful. Porto, there was something about Porto. I don't know if I've had a past life there or something, but it was just beautiful. Like that was one of my favourite cities. And then we went to Lisbon, and then we went down south we got a car and drove down south to Portimao. So that was really nice. It was like a mini Florida.
Oh, it was, yeah?
Yeah, it was really weird. Okay. Nice beach and stuff.
It's on my radar now.
But and then we went somewhere else. I can't remember the name of it in Portugal. But from Portugal we went to Spain, Valencia, Barcelona, and Madrid. So that was quite an experience. But went to Italy, and I met a couple from Trieste. Like they lived in Trieste, but I met them in Amsterdam before I got to England. So they invited us to stay at their house, and I was really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have went to Trieste I wouldn't have even known about it. Yeah, so getting to see this town as well, like it was a really beautiful town. Went to a little castle that they had there, and just got to experience the Italian culture like firsthand with them and their family and stuff. So, really grateful for that opportunity. And, we went to a few places in Italy, France, Paris. We went to Paris, didn't go much else in France. And then, Amsterdam. So I'm like, if I go back to Europe, I really want to backpack. Like, I want to go indefinitely, and I want to go see the east of Europe. So I'd love to go see like Austria, Vienna, Budapest, even Romania. Like, I'd love to go Croatia.
Why not? Yeah.
Switzerland, like all the places, even Germany. I didn't get to go to Germany. So, that's why I'd really love to go back to Europe. So.
Europe is awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
So close together too, You catch a train to get around.
Makes it easy. And I think it's a bit safer to go there by yourself as a female than it could be like South America or something. Yeah. Like, I'm sure it's probably sketchy. Safe, just depending on... But I feel better going to Europe on my own. Yeah.
How did you like Italy? That's my current favourite.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So I loved Trieste. I felt like, I don't know, Rome was nice.
Whereabouts is Trieste exactly?
It's close to Croatia. So like at the top and over, it's more...
To the east.
Yeah. So really, I think the next border is Slovenia or
so
Croatia.
Like past Venice, yeah?
Yeah. So we went to Venice as well. That was really nice. Really.
Yeah, what do you think of Venice?
It was small, but it was nice.
Walk around and...
Yeah, it was good to experience the whole island vibe, I guess you could say. Like I've always wanted to go there, but yeah, it was really nice, and like it was flooded at some point.
Oh, it was flooded.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
there you go.
in front of the church and stuff. Like the water was up to your knees almost. Yeah, so that was an experience. But
what about the smell? Was there a smell?
Not that I can recall. Was there a smell?
I remember, like on a warm day.
Oh,
it
okay.
gave off a really strong smell.
We went during the cold days, so maybe that's why I didn't get the smell. But
it was still beautiful though. I loved it.
Yeah. Where else did we go? We went to Naples and we went to Pompeii.
Yeah. South.
Pompeii was really awesome to experience. It would be interesting to imagine like what it was like living there.
Oh.
Yeah.
If they could do like a virtual kind of reenactment, yeah.
Yeah, before the volcano.
Wouldn't want to be around.
I know.
They say it was instant, didn't they?
Yeah, like it happened pretty quick. They didn't get a chance to leave.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it was really good to go experience it and see how they used to live and everything. So
what was your favourite for that whole Europe trip at the time? And what was a big highlight for you?
I guess Porto was my favourite. I don't know why. Like it was just the whole city and
nice vibe.
Yeah, and I love the blue and white tiles like in Portugal. Yeah, like that whole vibe there. But yeah, it was a really beautiful city, and the food was really yum over in Porto as well. But what else would have been? England was an experience. Like
that's your first time in England?
Yeah. So getting into the city one day, I just felt like I was at home. Like it was, I don't know if I'm going to live there in the future or something, but I just had this.
Tube.
Yeah. So I just had this really welcoming feeling when I got there, and Amsterdam was definitely an experience. So,
okay. Yeah, I haven't been to Amsterdam, but I know a few people that have.
It's different. It's definitely different. And like how chill they are and, open-minded, I guess. And got to go to the Van Gogh Museum when I was there as well. So, yeah, it was good to just see some really beautiful art and, but
Did you go to the red light district?
Yeah, I had to.
Yeah, you kind of have to, don't you?
You do, but I was young and I was quite shy back then. I was just like, oh my God, what are they doing? But no, it was definitely an experience. And so our return flights were from Amsterdam, and I think we got back like the start of December, and it was basically like 4 degrees in Amsterdam when we were leaving. So it was really cold. Yeah, I was like wearing every single jacket that I had because I'm so used to Melbourne weather. Oh, well,
it's pretty cold here too.
Yeah, but it wasn't as cold as Amsterdam.
Not -4 though.
Yeah, it was crazy over there. Like I've never been so cold. But then I'm like, I couldn't imagine going to Switzerland or something. So I'd love to, but I'll just make sure I've got the right jackets and stuff when I go. So.
The right gear.
Yeah.
So who did you go with?
My ex-partner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was. How long ago was that? 4 years?
No, so I think we went there about 6 years ago or 6 or 7 years ago. Yeah, so it was a while now, and I haven't gone back since. But the plan is to go back. So.
Yeah, you should definitely go back.
Yeah, I'm going to. Just got to save up that money and get myself all settled so I can travel. Yeah.
This thing like I had with my dad is. He always used to stress how much he wanted to make a lot of money, and I always stopped him and said, why do you want the money?
Yeah.
Because what if I could just give you all the money that you require or that you want?
Yeah.
What does that do? And he said, well, the money can help do this, do that, and help with this and that. I said, what if you just focus on those things instead of the money? And that's what I think about like traveling is don't worry so much about making the money to travel. Focus on how to travel because there's many options,
That's a good point, yeah. That's
the
definitely going to
universe will
help.
get it, it'll give it to you.
You're correct. You are so right. And I think that's it with the limiting belief and such as well. Like that's what's preventing me from getting there in a sense.
Focus on what you want.
Yeah, and be happy while you're doing it and like, in that high vibe. Whereas, wanting money is taking money away from you because it's sending out that
money
vibration.
is a tool that can help.
Yeah.
But it's not, you're not going, you're not trying to build the tools, You use the tool as a resource, and that's just one of many tools that you can use to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So travel is a good one. Was there anywhere else you would love to travel to?
I'd love to go to New Zealand one day.
Oh, you haven't been?
No.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it's so close, so that's what I mean. Like,
you probably haven't been to Tassie either.
No.
Oh no.
I've been to Perth. Okay, that's further.
That's further than both of them.
Yeah, so I've been to Perth and Queensland, South Australia, but and New South Wales. But I actually drove up to Queensland after my brother passed away, so just needed time away, and it was a really good experience. Stopped at
That's
a few
good
places.
Long drive,
Yeah, stayed with friends along the way, which was even better. And then so I had to drive back because I had work after the 3 weeks was up. But so I would like to go. I'd like to go to South America one day as well, and
do the ayahuasca.
Yeah, maybe in the future we'll see what happens. But Japan has always been on my bucket list. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I'd really love to go see Japan.
Japan, it's definitely. I've been a couple times, and I'll say it's just super clean.
Yeah,
and the people there are so respectful.
Yeah, see.
What's the word? Homogenous. I think they're a homogenous society. Just they're not open to change.
Yeah, stuck in their way.
What they have is pretty special.
Yeah, exactly. So why change something
that's the only place I've been to where I've eaten, like a pig, but actually lost weight.
Oh, no way. Yeah, because they're so healthy over there, aren't they?
You just eat sushi and raw fish and, ramens.
Wow.
But it's so delicious,
Yeah, so it
tastes very different to how we have it here.
True. I'd love to. I've heard that before, so it's like, I guess you'll only know once you go there what it tastes like.
Here they're more like you get the ingredients and slap it together, I suppose. But they're very pedantic, on everything.
Wow.
So the end result is different.
Yeah.
I've heard that it takes like people 10 years to become a sushi specialist,
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I could tell the difference between, one of their sushis to our sushi. It just tastes it tastes very similar, but to a lot of Japanese people, they can tell the difference.
Wow. That's unbelievable. So it's like, they put a lot of time and effort into their work, I guess, which is also beautiful. Like the mindfulness would be there. And so, I'd love to go to Japan. And
should definitely go to Japan. That's a good one because it's not too expensive from here,
Yeah, it is.
Back when we used to fly, every now and then they used to do half price kind of return flights to Tokyo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd love to go Tokyo, Kyoto as well, like the old capital.
Yeah.
And just like Mount Fuji. Is it?
I actually climbed up there.
Did you really?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Twice.
How long did that take you?
The first time I got about 2/3 up. Yeah, and I had to come down because otherwise I would have been trapped up there overnight.
Oh, wow. Yep.
And then the following year I went back and I planned it a bit better. I organized you can stay at these huts along the way.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wasn't going to complete it in one day.
Yeah.
So I booked reserved a little spot in this hut and slept there for a few hours, and then before the sun rose, everyone got up and made the rest of the hike up.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it took me like a long time. Yeah, I'm not good with like high altitude stuff.
I wouldn't know if I was. I guess until you go, you don't know. But good on you for doing it.
It was really hard.
Yeah, it would have been.
Like taking from here to say 10 steps, you just get breathless.
Oh, wow.
So imagine doing that, stop, start, all the way to the top,
Yeah, and I guess there's no real way to prepare yourself for it here in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, I don't know.
You wouldn't be able to for the high altitude. So it's you can work on your fitness as much as you want, but maybe breathing. Wim Hof is all about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Have you heard of Wim Hof?
Yeah, the Iceman.
Yeah. So it's maybe.
Have you tried his methods?
I just do the cold shower.
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes when I can. But yeah, like I've never done an ice box or anything like that. I don't think I'm brave enough. So
just got to jump in there, eh?
yeah, exactly. And I heard it's really good for you. So
Well, it must be.
yeah,
Must be.
yeah, it's becoming more popular nowadays. So yeah,
it must kind of like shock your body and your mind so much that you begin to think together, you know? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
I think I remember him saying something about like it triggers the reptilian brain or something like that. So it brings you back to the present, like instead of having, you know, the ego ruling or whatever. So I don't know much about Wim Hof.
I think you become more connected to your body. He says you can use it to cure a lot of illness and disease.
Yeah.
But he just has that total control of your body, you know?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I know. I don't know how he does it, but I guess it's about, you know, tolerance, building it up.
How did he come across this? I think he was a bit suicidal, wasn't he? I think he jumped in the water to just kind of let everything go.
Wow. I didn't know that about him. I'm going to have to do some research.
I just watched the doco. I think because his wife passed away and he was, you know, he raised his kids, and then I think at some point he just kind of got to that point where he just let go and jumped in the water.
Yeah.
Maybe not to commit the act, but I think he was just, I'm not too sure, to be honest, but I think that's how it started.
And when you say that, like the thought that came to my head was surrendering. So it's like he kind of got to that breaking point and just surrendered. And
maybe
when you surrender,
you'll have to tell the story.
Yeah, but like surrendering is the most important thing, and it's not easy being human. So it's like we can get so caught up in something, and you know, like they say, when people hit rock bottom, they surrender because they've got nothing left to lose, and that's when they can kind of come back from it. And
just like you were saying when we started, you know, that was beautiful. It's like you have to reach those depths and that rock bottom to create something beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
Or to allow it the beauty to happen and take its course.
Because it's about like letting go of everything you were taught or everything that you were conditioned to surrender it and create something new from what you've experienced. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Good thoughts. It's been a really good chat though. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I enjoy it for myself. I love talking to like-minded people like yourself. Especially you. I had no idea because, you know, I didn't really know who you were.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what am I in for here?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, because a lot of things that you're saying like really intrigued me, you know, like the spiritual side, and that's pretty much what this podcast is about. I'm trying to unravel these things, you know?
Yeah, everyone's perception and their experiences that have led them to this, and well,
it's meant to be, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's, again, like I just moved back here and everything's happened as it should, so I'm really grateful and learning to go with the flow, and I'm definitely going to take your advice on that money situation. I'm like going to focus on what I want and not the money.
Well, what is it that you want ultimately?
Ultimately, I really want...
That's a real question that I think people need to ask themselves.
It is a big one, isn't it? And I feel like,
it's everything.
It is.
To that person.
Yeah, and it's hard to understand it with yourself. Like when you ask me, there's still that fear of like, am I worthy? Am I deserving of what I want? But again, like
But only you have the answer right now, and it can change, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So like my end goal is to work with children, but in the meantime, I want to focus on my hobbies of numerology and maybe my own podcast one day, or like my blog, and just putting my word out there as well. Like I'd love to talk about the things that I know, just if they're able to help other people and meet like-minded people as well. So and I think like now in the age of entrepreneurship and stuff, like the age of technology, it's a lot easier for people to work for themselves in a way. Like obviously it's about building it up and, you know, like not really having expectations, but just living from your heart, living with doing things you enjoy, and that's going to create the abundance. So
that's cool. So you have a blog?
It's not out yet, but I'm a bit hesitant on it because I'm still Not
That's
100.
how I am with this podcast. I've only told like a handful of people, really.
Yeah, but you're doing it. So you're putting it
doing
out on the
something, yeah.
internet as well. So
Yeah.
that's getting
It's getting a bit of traction, you know.
Yeah, the momentum's building up.
Still a lot of things I've got to fine tune, you know.
Yeah, but at least you're doing it.
Finished this yet.
That's all right, all in due time.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
but that's the thing. You can wait till it's all finished, but it's like you'd miss out on all these experiences with these
That's
people.
exactly right. Yeah, that's why I started, because I was like, I thought I'd be done by now, but you know what? We'll just start.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad we have, because this is episode 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So instead of just waiting for things to piece together, it's like just get the ball going and see where it leads.
See the
you.
progress as it goes, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it's all about, the journey.
Well, good luck for your blog and things like that, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe you should start a podcast too.
Well, I'm thinking about it because it's always been at the back of my mind. Me and my friend.
You can rent the studio out.
Don't tempt me. I might have to while I'm living here, especially.
Yeah, I'll leave the equipment here.
Awesome. We need to work this out then.
That's right.
But no, it'll be awesome. Like I'm really excited to start on my blog and everything. But there's that fear again. But I'll do it.
You'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. Being here on your podcast has definitely helped release a lot. Yeah. So it's just like, what was I scared of? I'll probably watch it.
You're gonna come back though.
Yeah, I would love to
sure.
definitely see, what experiences and what else we have to
come
talk
back
about.
And then see what else we've learnt.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. Well, yeah, it was lovely to be here and lovely to meet you.
Awesome to meet you too.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to leave it at that.
All right.